I'm Joseph Brooks, and this is Lawyer in the Kitchen. Welcome to Lawyer in the Kitchen. Today we're going to make one of my favorite dishes, beef stroganoff. It's a very, very easy dish to make. This is a decadent dish because of all the butter, the cream, sour cream, and heavy cream. It's a very tasty dish, and it comes from Russia. This dish was, there was a Count Stroganoff who was in Alexander III's court in Russia, and in the 1800s, and somewhere around 1870, this recipe, or one very close to this, showed up in print in Russia. And then in the 1950s, after our folks, all our guys and gals came back from the World War II, they learned of this recipe, and it became very popular in 1950 here. So we're going to talk about this recipe. It's like a 30-minute dish. All right, one thing about this dish is you need to use really good meat. This is not, some people they can make it out of hamburger, but this ought to be made with something like tenderloin, filet, and what I'm using, and this is a great thing to use because it's got a little fat in, is boneless ribeyes. Now, the reason why they're in this bag is I just pulled them out of the freezer and I just beat them to death with this rolling pin, this stone rolling pin, to take them down. But they were about 1.5 inches high, and now they're about 3/4 of an inch high. I put them in the freezer so they're easier to cut into thin strips. So that's the beef, obviously, of the beef stroganoff. Then the mushrooms is the main next ingredient. I sliced these before we started. You can buy these sliced, it's probably easier to do. We're gonna use about a 1/2 stick of butter. We're gonna use a bag of noodles. Get some hearty noodles. That says hearty, so these are hearty noodles. That's good. Okay, we're gonna have some shallots, and then on the sauce we're gonna have beef broth, about 2 cups, about 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, about 1 cup of sour cream. Now you notice we do have this sitting out. I've actually had this out for about 45 minutes to let it warm up, so that when we add it to the sauce, it won't separate. I've also let the cream warm up a little bit as well. We'll use about 1/2 cup of cream. Of course, salt and pepper, and we'll garnish with a little bit of cilantro, or parsley rather, and some homegrown, these are both homegrown, honestly. In fact, Sharon just cut these, and some chives. So this is an easy dish. This will be fun. We'll cut the meat first. We'll cook the meat first, and then we'll put the shallots in, the mushrooms in, and all the ingredients will come together all at once. You can thicken this with flour. We're going to see where this gets. If it's not thick enough when it cooks down just a little bit, we'll thicken it. But this is a dish that when you add the sour cream and the cream, you don't want to boil it. Okay, you want it to simmer lightly, and then we'll warm up the meat. Now it's easier to cut the meat, like I said, if you put in the freezer. It tightens it up a little bit, and you can make the strips nice. This is really nice here. Now we're not going to put all this fat in here, but you can see how nicely marbled this is. This is going to be really good. Okay, so we're looking at, that's a nice bite-sized piece right there. That is too. See how nicely this cuts? Very easy. We'll go ahead and cut that in half. We're going to sear this very quickly. In fact, it won't cook right away. We don't want it cooked done, because it'll finish in the sauce. We just do this until it's done. And this is going to finish this up. Got nice, mostly bite-sized pieces. And we, of course, left the fat out. Now, next thing we're going to do is get this pan, get some butter and some oil, a little bit, half and half, and get this thing hot, smoking hot, before we put this in. Because we're going to put this in, we're going to sear this 30 seconds or so, 45 seconds, and take it out. All right, so it's not quite smoking hot, but it's awfully close. And I heard my wife say, smoking hot like her? Yeah, I think that's correct. So anyhow, we'll put some butter in and see how fast that's going down. We know that's hot. And the butter helps brown. It'll caramelize this beef. We're going to put this in a little bit of time. We're going to put the salt and pepper on it. And then we're going to take it out of this pan quickly, because we do not want to cook this meat all the way done. Okay, this cooks in the sauce the rest of the way, just lightly. In fact, if you could get this medium rare, it'd be perfect. All right, now it is actually smoking hot. So we're going to put some beef in here. Not too much. Give some room. This is a short period of time right here. We just want to get it brown if we can. And we're adding salt and pepper. Not a lot. Take the cap off. That'll be better on that. Here we go. And that's it for this batch. We're going to turn it over just for a second. Look at that. That's perfect. It's got a nice little brown to it. All right. Now, we've been warming up this water. It's almost ready to go because the noodles cook for about 10 minutes. So we can get this water boiling, and as soon as this boils, we're going to go ahead and put the noodles in, about 10 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead, right now we're going to put the shallots in. Once the shallots have had a chance to get a little translucent, look at those. Those are nice. Okay. And after that, we're going to put the mushrooms in. It's time, it's looking to me like it's a little time for butter. Because you can't have a decadent, rich dish without butter. There we go. Let's just get that in there. Put that. All right. Of course, we got a little salt, a little olive oil. And once they come back, they'll go about 10 minutes. All right, burner back on, not super high. We want to start cooling down this pan actually, because we don't want the sour cream to separate. So the pan needs to cool off a little bit. All right, so if you look at this, the mushrooms have given up some of their moisture. The shallots are nice and caramelized. This is about where we want to go ahead and take these out now on the other plate and then start our sauce. So now we're going to let this pan start cooling down just a little bit. We don't want it near as high. This is the beef broth, not all of it yet. We want to get all those bits off of there. All right, so it's time to put in about a cup. This is a pound of sour cream. So we're going to take about half of this. And we already know we have plenty of butter in there. And then we're going to add some cream. And I don't remember, whatever I said, that's about it. Okay, and then about a tablespoon of Dijon. And we're hoping this stays without the sour cream separating. Notice how we're not boiling this, okay? We don't want to boil this. It'll ruin the sauce. With all the juices. And it should be rich. We're going to taste this in just a minute, see if we need to add any salt or pepper. My guess is we're going to be just about right. And we'll add back in the onions and the mushrooms. And it looks like we turn the heat up just a little bit. All right. It's been full 10 minutes. These are the noodles. I checked one to make sure it was nice and tender, but not overcooked. Of course, it was overcooked, too late. All right, so now we're gonna get our plate freshly washed, and we're gonna do, as soon as I can find we'll do these. We're gonna put some noodles on the plate. All right, now we're gonna ladle up some of this nice, look at that broth, that's gorgeous. A little bit of parsley. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is to Count Stroganoff, beef stroganoff. As I say in Russian, Здравствуйте and до свидания.